And still another major story tonight. A controversial fundamentalist preacher with ties to at least a half dozen Michigan churches may be the next David Koresh. That's the assessment of some of his ex-followers who claim independent Baptist pastor Jack Hyles engages in mind control and retaliation against those who question his teachings. TV2 investigator Vince Wade has spent 2 months researching Jack Hyles and his followers. He joins us now with his special report we're calling Praying from the Pulpit. Vince?
Rich, Jack Hyles is closely associated with Washtenaw County's North Sharon Baptist Church, which is in the midst of a child molesting scandal. He recently presented so-called Justice Awards to the pastor and assistant pastor. Both men are graduates of his Bible college in Indiana. Throughout the country, including Michigan, there are ex-believers in Jack Hyles' brand of Christianity who say they fear the Indiana fundamentalist is running a cult without a compound.
How many bells? What's going on now?
The deadly confrontation between federal agents and David Koresh's followers was the apocalypse for a group of paranoid, secretive fanatics who had armed themselves against the outside world. David Koresh convinced his believers he was God on earth. Fundamentalist preacher Jack Hyles doesn't claim he's God, but he's convinced a lot of people he's the next best thing. He once brandished a rifle while he was preaching, and he frequently warns his congregation about the enemies of his ministry, meaning anyone who questions what he says.
Everything is all right. Last Monday I went to preach in Michigan. I wasn't in my room yet when the pastor told me that a threat had come on the phone that morning. I live that way.
Did someone in Michigan threaten to kill Jack Hyles? If so, why? His devoted followers don't know and don't care. Hyles presides over the First Baptist Church of Hammond, Indiana. One of his deacons, A.V. Ballinger, was recently convicted of molesting a 7-year-old girl in Sunday school. At the trial, Hyles' believer Wes Miller was a self-appointed cheerleader and scout for enemies. On a recent Sunday outside Hyles' church, Miller accused me of sneaking into the Ballinger trial.
Yeah. You're in my way now. If you don't mind stepping out of the way.
You have a nice day now.
You excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I bet you
I apologize.
Well, that was nice Christian behavior of yours.
Well, the sign was just in the way, and I apologize very much.
I appreciate your apology. That was really Christian of you.
I would say it's very, what do you want to say, cultish is a word that comes to my mind immediately. It's very cultish.
There are some cult-like tendencies at the church.
Perhaps these former church members recollect Jack Hyles' 1990 poison sermon.
I have some poison I plan to pour in here. Notice the bones and the skull there. Now then, if I walked up tonight and I said to you, I've got something I want you to drink. In fact, Brother Colston, I'd like you, if you don't mind, to drink this. How you like that? He said, if you want me to, I'll drink it. That's what you call real loyalty.
It has the ring of Jonestown to it. That was the mass suicide in Guyana in 1978 by followers of cult leader Jim Jones. Voyle Glover is an attorney and former Hyles church member. He's written a book on Hyles called Fundamental Seduction.
What they have done basically is what every cult does. They exchange the truth for whatever comes out of the mouth of the leader. And that is a cult. That is not Christianity.
Hyles tells traitors to crawl out of the church and into the city sewer.
I've heard this so much. Brother Hyles, we're going to go back home. Well, go on back home. Don't clutter this place up with a bunch of yellow-bellied quitters.
You can call it brainwashing. You can call it various forms of spiritual mind control. But it's very, very effective. To reject the pastor is, in essence, rejecting God. And they come to believe that.
Jack Hyles has surrounded himself with a well-armed security force. Uniformed men with karate-type nightsticks and .357 Magnums patrol the house of God on the lookout for enemies.
There has been a growing tendency in that church to become an armed camp.
Bill Waddell, the chief of police of Griffith, Indiana, and a former member of Hyles' congregation, says he's seen men come to the church armed because they were inspired to protect Brother Hyles. Harry Kilgore is a former Hyles security guard who says he knows for a fact some radical Hyles followers have been buying guns.
Yeah, there's fellows there that are stocking up. I mean, I've talked to some who say, yeah, we're stocking up on weapons.
Why are they stocking up on weapons?
Well, they think that the devil is taking over
and that their only hope is to fight and protect that they love and live for.
The place is an armed camp in many ways.
Vic Nischik is a former deacon at Hyles Church. There are people in this church who would kill for Jack Hyles.
That is correct. And I can testify to the fact that when I was under his mind control, I would have killed too if he told me to.
We have an audio tape of one of Jack Hyles' loyal followers who preached that when he starts to pray, sometimes he gets mixed up and begins to pray to Hyles instead of God. You need more proof of the idolatry of Jack Hyles? Exhibit A might be this souvenir that was passed out at the 100th anniversary of First Baptist Church of Hammond. If you can't be Brother Jack, apparently the next best thing is to put on a false face. Tomorrow night at 11, we'll examine the money Jack Hyles received.
Fitz, hard to believe that he represents all fundamentalists.
Well, he certainly doesn't, and that's an important point that we need to make in fairness to other people. He doesn't represent all fundamentalists, and he certainly doesn't represent all Christians. This is the Jack Hyles brand of fundamentalism.
And again, more tomorrow.
More tomorrow night at 11 on money.
Okay, thanks.